Good morning, everyone. We have set up our living room again as our yoga studio. We took a little bit of a break in the later part of the summer and the fall. Things were a little bit tough for us in Manitoba, being two teachers with a pandemic, as well as taking extra university courses. But we are here today filming for Sergeant Park School staff, which is Kayla's school. And we're excited to have prepared a class for you today that was inspired from one of my yoga teachers, who is Lisa Greenbaum, and her class called Embrace Change. That I also kind of took some meditation and some themes from Tamara Levitt's Calm app meditation called Control. So we'll start by getting in a comfortable position. I know that we're a little bit chilly in our house from just being a little bit sedentary, so we have our blankets handy. And it might be really nice to start our practice on our backs. It's my favorite place to be. Maybe legs long, maybe knees bent, feet on the floor, knees tented. Take some pressure off the low back. Or whatever other position feels good. Start by taking a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, let it go. As humans, we have this habit of wanting to have control. In life, there really is so little that we have total control over. The more we fight and resist letting go of control, not being in control, the more pain and frustration, the more anxiety that we experience. Tamara Levitt reminds us that control is, in fact, an illusion. Especially in these unsettling times, we need to accept what is out of our control versus what is in our control. Once we release that tight grip of being in control of all situations, only then can we finally find some peace. Whatever sensations, emotions, or thoughts that we notice, noticing them, accepting that they're there, and then letting it go. Letting go of the need to control every movement, every sensation, every thought. Instead, just being present, just noticing. Noticing our breath as it moves in and out of the body. Noticing how it feels to inhale cool air And exhale warm air out of our nostrils. Anytime the mind wanders off, with kindness, compassion, bring it back to the breath. Coming back to the breath. Just noticing. We might choose to stay in Shavasana for a little bit longer, especially if we're noticing that our mind is still bouncing from thought to thought. We call that monkey mind. The monkey swinging from tree to tree, our mind going from thought to thought. Means we need a little bit more time in meditation. Come back to the breath. If you're ready to move, you might be wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Maybe stretching away from the body, maybe curling up tight. Taking a big inhale through the nose, exhale, let it out of the mouth. And you have that residual stress, let it go. Let's take the knees to the chest. You can keep your blankets if you want. Just face sideways for a moment. Adding a little rock side to side. Enjoying that pressure in the back. And the hips. Without forcing it. Without pushing to pain. Just letting the body create shapes. Create movement in a safe and beneficial way. Start moving through alternating knee and leg extensions with knees to chest, clasping behind the right thigh guides in. Inhale, exhale, extend, left leg long. We can choose to hover, or we can choose to let that hip and leg be really relaxed and soft. On our inhale, let's switch legs. Left knee to chest, right leg long. Moving from side to side, using our breath. We've spent a lot of time sitting today. You might notice that we should be patient with our hips. Take slow breaths. Move super slowly. Maybe massaging out the hip flexors as well. Next time the right knee's in the chest, let's choose to have the left leg long, foot on the floor, or still lifted if we're wanting a little bit more core intensity. Finding some openness to the hips. Let's guide right knee to the chest. Release some of that pressure. Guide it to right shoulder. Release the pressure back to center. Guide knee to left shoulder. Release pressure back to center. And just shifting side to side. Enjoying a stretch on the inside of the hips, inside of the thighs, and outside. Let's take one more breath. Coming back to center, let's switch legs. Draw the left leg in. Right leg can be on the floor. Right foot can be on the floor. Or we can find that extension. Take a breath. Inhale, exhale, draw that knee to chest. Release the pressure. Guide the knee to right shoulder, left shoulder. Back to center. Cross it over the body. Guide to right shoulder. And shifting gently back and forth, side to side. Repositioning the hands however we need for the wrists to be happy. For both hips to stay on the ground, both shoulders. Let's take one more breath side to side, finding balance between left and right the best we can. But also accepting that we probably noticed a difference in flexibility, strength, mobility from left to right. And that's all right. Let's come back to center, take a big breath, guide those knees in, maybe lift nose to knee. A little stretch for the back of the body. And as we release, rolling over to one side, cradling head, bottom or top arm, baby pose. Slowly pressing ourselves up. Meeting on all fours. Starting to flow through cat-cow. Let's stack the joints, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Fingers spread nice and wide to take that pressure off of the wrists. Knees underneath the hips. And starting in neutral spine before we begin to flow. Pulling in through the belly to protect low back. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Let's inhale deeply. And exhale, round out through the back. Start the movement in the hips, low back, mid back, upper back, shoulders pressing through the hands. Little tuck of the chin, get the back of the neck stretch. And inhale, let's reverse the flow. Start with the hips, low back, mid back, reaching heart center through. Lengthening back of the neck to stretch front of the neck. Exhaling to round out. Find cat. Inhale, guide heart center through, find cow. Continuing to flow, using our breath. And closing our eyes whenever we need in our practice. If we're noticing that we're starting to fixate on how the posture looks. Maybe just softening our eye gaze or closing our eyes can help. Let's take a few more breaths. Sitting back to child's pose or downward facing dog whenever we need. Hips sitting back, maybe the arms are forward, maybe we stack the fists, let forehead rest, maybe hands come to the back of the heels. If we're in down dog, we might enjoy a little bit of pedaling side to side. Taking one more big breath. I'm choosing to stay here. We're flowing through vinyasa, or half or full series. On our inhale, let's shift forward to plank, knees or toes. As we exhale, let's lower halfway down to crocodile. Release to floor. Release the pressure out of our hands. Just like cow, let's use back of the body to lift up into baby cobra. Sometimes it's nice to lift the hands up as a gentle reminder. As we exhale, let's release shoulders. Press firmly back up into plank, knees or toes. And exhale, shift back to child or downward facing dog. Choosing to continue to flow 3 more times. Choosing the postures and the modifications and the options that feel best for our body, for our mood, for our energy level. As we make our way back to downward facing dog or child's pose, taking a big breath. Let's slowly make our way to mountain pose, looking at the space between our hands, walking, hopping, lunging the feet up. From forward fold. Let's stay here, bend the knees, let the spine be heavy. Maybe we shake our heads no, shake our heads yes. Let's inhale halfway up to half forward fold, fingertips to shin. Reaching that chest through, and exhale, slowly release. Let's try that a few more times. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhaling. Working backs of the legs, glutes, and core. Last big flow. This time dropping the hips as we lift all the way up, reverse swan dive. Lifting up to mountain, reaching up tall, feeling that length. Let's exhale, sit back in chair. Let's keep that chair flow going. A few times just sitting back. A nice easy chair. This time, let's twist to the right. Belly, ribs, chest, twisting chair. Left hand can come over. Rest gently on opposite thigh. Right hand is in that back pocket. Both knees, toes, and hips still track forward. The rotation is from belly, ribs, chest up. Let's add a little bit of movement. Inhale, lift up, extended mountain. Exhale, twist to left. Sit the hips back. Let's take a few more flows, side to side. This time sitting on the right side, find twisting chair. Choose to take eye gaze up over the shoulder for one big breath. As we press into feet, let's slowly unravel from belly, ribs up. Come back to chair. We're going to add a little bit through our chair and take it into crescent lunge. Let's slowly lift the left heel up. Feel that body weight supported in the right foot. Maybe take left toes to floor. Maybe take left heel to butt. Not a real pose, but I call it flamingo. We're going to step back into our lunge as slowly as we can. We might teeter side to side. It's all good. Really bend into that right leg as we step back. The slower, the harder it is. When we land, let's inhale with crescent lunge, arms all the way up overhead. Let's exhale, hands to heart. Ooh, we might wobble side to side. It's all right, walk that foot back in. And maybe we're here with hands at heart center, helps us feel grounded and calm. Maybe we need a little bit of bravery and courage today. We can take right hand in Abhaya Mudra, no fear mudra, with the right palm facing forward and fingers closed. Maybe our opposite hand is reaching down. Maybe there's a hand on our heart. Let's take 5 breaths. If we're focusing on flexibility, we might drop that back knee. Just know that we want lots of space. If it feels better, scooch that back knee a little bit farther back so the pressure is a little bit higher above the knee instead of the kneecap. Sometimes we like to fold the side of the mat in so we have more pressure. If we have less pressure, a little bit more cushion. Let's take 3 more breaths. Find openness in our heart center. Find expansion with our breath. With every exhale, find some softness. Last big breath. From that low lunge, we'll slowly come back up to high lunge as we move to pyramid. When we're ready from our high lunge, inhale, circle sweeping to extended crescent lunge. And as we move to pyramid, let's open arms out to side, hinge forward from the hips. Back foot takes a little step. The toe is going to point to top left-hand corner, 45 degrees-ish. As we inhale, let's lengthen that front leg, guide the right hip back. Probably wants to swing forward. This way, hips are square to front. Let's exhale, start to slowly lower. Pulling those heels together, big stretch for front leg. Maybe hands on hips. Maybe hands on calves. Maybe hands on floor. Maybe we have extra books. They can act as our blocks. Let's take 3 more breaths. Last big inhale. Find length in the spine. And exhale, let's lower hands to floor. Take as much knee bend as we need. Moving to straddle split. Take a little bit longer of a step with that back foot. It's like we're in a low lunge. Then walk towards the long side of the mat. Pivot on the heels and the balls of the feet. Feet parallel to short side of the mat. We might have taken our blocks or our books or our blankets. Maybe it feels better to have a little bit more height here. Maybe hands to floor. Maybe fingertips or fists. Let's take 3 breaths. On our inhale, extend through spine, open through heart center. Exhale, brace belly and soften in. Take 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, lengthen. Come up halfway. Exhale, soften, surrender. Inhale halfway. Exhale, soften, surrender. Let's take one breath, holding here and straddle. Staying a little bit longer. If you're ready to come out, press up halfway, then come up to fingertips. Equalize blood pressure before we start to flow and move. Walk back to front edge of our mats. Pivot on front heel. Toes point forward. Pivot on back, follow the foot. Toes point forward. Stepping back, we might choose to flow through vinyasa. We might choose to rest, grab water. Or we might choose to flow through cheetah. We can be in down dog or all fours. We'll start by extending right leg. If we're in down dog, let's inhale right leg up, three-legged dog. If we're on all fours, toes point down to floor. Think of internally rotating those thighs. As we exhale, let's shift forward like a mountain climber. Right knee, right elbow. Shift it, kind of like we're in plank, four on our toes, or all fours. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee crosses over, opposite. Reach it to left. Inhale, extend. Exhale, nose towards knee. Shift forward like mountain climber. 2 more cycles through if we like. Knees or toes, always our choice. Or mix it up. Cross it over. Inhale, exhale, round out. Last flow, inhale, exhale, same powerful breath. I am strong, I am brave, I am powerful. Let's release. Maybe we sit back, rest. Do the wrists, shake it out. Big breath. Let it out through the mouth. Let's try other side. All fours, down dog, your choice. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Shift forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cross. Inhale, extend. Exhale, nose to knee. 2 more flows, knees or toes, your choice. And release. Sit back, rest, or a little bit of vinyasa, but likely a rest need a little bit of time to rest. If you're ready to flow again, let's come back to mountain. Stepping, hopping forward, slowly rising. Inhaling and exhaling, hands to heart. Let's come back to our flowing, twisting chair. Take a little bit of time to flow, to move, to twist. Then we'll try stepping back into that lunge on the other side. We're halfway done our warrior series. Focusing on strengthening, finding power in our body, in our minds, and building focus. Let's come back to center, sit back to chair, hands to heart. Right heel lifts up. Stay here or tap the toe. Staying here or heel at the butt. Stay here for 1 breath. Really sink deeply into that left leg. Begin to extend behind. Slowly find crescent lunge. Back knee up or down. Let circles hip up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Maybe this time we stay with hands at heart. Maybe we come back to one hand in Abhaya Mudra, one hand on the heart. Maybe something different. Noticing how it feels to be in our posture in stillness. Noticing the discomfort. Noticing the thoughts. Making space for them. And then exhaling, letting go of that control. Let's take our last breath. If we're in a low lunge, we'll slowly meet in a high lunge for pyramid. Slowly circle sweeping up when we're ready. As we exhale, hinging forward from the hips, arms sweep out to the side. Take that back foot, step it in. Still train track feet. Right foot's pointing to 45-degree angle-ish out to the corner. As we start to lengthen that front thigh, we guide the left hip back, maybe walking hands to thighs. That might be enough. Maybe hands on the calves, floor. Maybe fingertips to floor. Maybe fists. Grabbing any props that we can find around us. We can get really creative. We can grab books, bins. You thinking over there? More examples?
No, I'm just thinking teachers have a lot of things.
Teachers have a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's take 2 more breaths. We're noticing that we're starting to fixate on how deep we can go, how straight our leg is. Take a breath, soften the eye gaze. Just enjoy where you are right now. Take 1 more big breath. Releasing hands to floor. We might want a really big knee bend to get there. Back heel lifts up. Back in our long, long lunge. That's going to help us get to straddle. Yeah, or take an extra little step. And walk to the side. Maybe toe the toes in. Grab our props. Thank you. Taking a few deep breaths. Inhale, find length. Press pinky side of the feet to floor. Inhale, find length. Exhale, brace the belly. Inhale, find length. Exhale, relax shoulders, neck, and head. Let's take 1 more breath. Coming out, let's press up onto hands, lift up halfway. Walking to front edge of mats again. Take the last opportunity for yogi's choice. Rest, stretch, flow. Up to you.
Drink your water, pretend you're on a beach. Listening to Bob Marley. I know the closest thing that we've been to a beach lately is changing our Google Meet backgrounds to a beach. It's not quite the same, but it'll do.
It'll have to do. You might enjoy some time to rest in child's pose. If we're wanting to stretch the low back, try keeping the knees together and really lengthening the body as we fold over. If you want a little bit more of a stretch in the hips and in the shoulders, try taking feet together and knees super wide. A little bit more depth that we can achieve as we sink down. Take our last big breath. So we slowly lift ourselves up, maybe giving ourselves an extra little bit of a stretch to the shoulders, walking those fingertips away from the body, really pressing down. Feels so good to stretch the shoulders. Making our way up to mountain for tree pose. Step, lunge, hop the feet up. Take time so we're not dizzy. Finding our mountain feet, we can rock forward, back, side to side, until you can't heart. Let's tap the right foot up to the side. Turn that heel in and slowly slide the foot to meet the body, maybe on the ankle, calf, upper thigh, your choice, as long as the knee is free from pressure. And just like we try to hang on to control, our bodies sometimes start to do that in our postures. We sometimes have a really intense grip with our toes on the floor. So seeing if instead of fighting the movement and the sway, just allowing it to happen and allowing our body to adapt and react to it naturally. Let's take one more deep breath. Let's come back to mountain. Noticing how it feels different, right, left side. Then switching. Left toe taps out. Turn the heel in, slowly slide. Make your choice where that foot wants to be. And just like the trees on a windy day or during a storm, the more they're able to bend and sway with the storm and the wind, the better they're able to last and be okay. If we can try and embody that same flexibility, just like the trees, instead of fighting what's out of our control, instead of fighting what's challenging, if we acknowledge, make room, and let it pass, we know that we'll be okay. Let's take one more big breath. Slowly release. Let's make our way down onto our mats. Inhale, circle sweep arms. Exhale, forward fold. Bend knees to take hands to floor, walking feet back. Let's drop to all fours. Coming into seated, kick legs out to the sides, swing them around for forward fold. And using hands to lift up squishy parts of the hips so that pelvis is in neutral. Let's take a small bend in the knees. If we're taking care of knees, we might like to have our blanket underneath to keep that softness. If we're cold, we can start to wrap ourselves out. Let's take a deep breath. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. So exhale, start to fold. Maybe that extra little bit of our blanket or our second blanket or pillow goes under our body. Supports the belly. Instead of the belly just floating over the thighs, you might like that extra little bit of support to help the spine feel more comfortable. Let's take 5 more breaths. Sinking into a forward fold that gives us a sensation that's just enough. If we notice pain, we want to back off. If it's just discomfort and we can breathe through it, trying to sink into that with our breath. Let's take our last breath. Really soften through the knees, coming back up. Let's go to cross-legged. Left leg on the inside, right leg on the outside. Our inhale, let's lift up nice and tall. Circle sweep the arms. As we exhale, let's twist to the right. Belly ribs chest, let the arms fall. Left in front, coming to the opposite thigh. Right hand right behind the body. Keeping neck and head in neutral, that feels best. We're slowly guiding into a pain-free range of motion. On our next inhale, let's unravel, come back to center. Coming back to a forward fold, walking hands forward until we feel just enough sensation on the right hip. You might like having the extra little bit of a bundle of blankets or bolster, pillow, extra sweaters or winter parkas are probably thick enough to give us some extra cushion. Let's take our last breath. Slowly pressing yourselves back up, walking hands in. Let's uncross the legs and switch. Maybe a little shake in the middle. Maybe a little rub through the knees. Tucking the right in, left on the outside. Let's start with that seated twist. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, twist to left. Belly rubs chest. Let the arms gently fall. One hand in front, gently released. One hand behind, acting as our second spine. Maybe inviting the eye gaze to start to shift towards the left shoulder. Our next inhale, let's slowly unravel. Giving left hip a chance to stretch. Inhale long, exhale, let's fold forward. Noticing the discomfort. Seeing if we can send our breath there. Softening our eye gaze, especially if we're starting to have thoughts that are critical of what our pose looks like or doesn't look like. So we take our last breath, seeing if we can surrender just a little bit more into our forward fold. When we're ready to release, walking hands in, pressing ourselves up. We're coming onto our backs for supine butterfly. We might want to have our blankets nearby so we can drape them over ourselves once we're down. Taking one knee to the chest to slowly roll down. Then opening up the knees with soles of the feet together. Space between heels and groin. We can choose to keep hands open or a hand on heart and belly. Maybe spread wide. We're up above the head in pawn gesture, almost like we're creating a halo for ourselves. Feel free to add an extra little layer. We're starting to cool off. With our inhales, noticing the expansion through our chest, particularly our heart center, our rib cage, and our belly. With our exhale, seeing if we can invite softness. Softness through the muscles of our legs, arms, belly, back and shoulders. Releasing through the neck, back of the head, the scalp, and the front of our face. We might take up to 10 breaths here. When we're ready for relaxation meditation, you can extend the legs long. You can bend the knees, have feet to the floor, knees tented. Maybe we're still listening to the messages of our bodies that are asking for a little bit more movement or openness in a specific part of our bodies. Going there first, taking our time. And then settling into Shavasana once you're ready. You might notice monkey mind, chitta vritti, thoughts bouncing around. Acknowledging them, and then gently coming back to the breath. Without trying to change or control. Knowing that our thoughts, emotions, and sensations will come and go. If we fight them, if we try to control or resist, it just gives them power. Use the exhale to release control. Make peace with what you can control. Make peace with what you can't control. Coming back to the breath each time. Inhaling, coming back to the breath, noticing the flow. Exhale, letting go of control. Being here in the present moment, noticing. Now, bringing our attention to the sound of the singing bowl, listening to the vibrations as it swells and slowly fades. Staying in Shavasana as long as we like. We're starting to move slowly and gently, stretching long, curling up tight. And when we're ready, being in a comfortable seated position. And moving forward in the rest of our day, stepping off of our mat, trying to take the lessons that we learn into our everyday life. In the moments that we are overwhelmed with our to-do lists, the long lists of needs of others. Seeing if we can take a deep breath, come back to the present moment, knowing that it's okay to not be in control of everything and everyone. We're reflecting in that moment. What am I in control of? What actions will help me ease some of the stress? What is out of my control? And how can I make room for this? Acknowledging that it might be challenging or difficult, and still moving forward and making peace with it. Let's share one last breath together. On our inhale, circle sweeping arms up above the head. Exhaling, hands down to our heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. We will be filming another class for the new year. Any feedback that you have is always welcome. Maybe postures or themes that you're looking to explore. Any constructive feedback is always helpful as well. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.